It was still dark when the mountain breathed fire. No warning to the untrained eye, just a low rumble, then a thunderous roar that echoed through the valleys like a giant tearing the sky apart. Mount Semeru had erupted, and not in a gentle way. This was violent, immediate, a fury unleashed beneath a sleeping sky. In the villages scattered along the flanks of Java's tallest volcano, people had only moments to react. Seismic sensors had already screamed to life, detecting harmonic tremors and bursts of gas. Mother Earth's version of a scream before the blast.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Your feedback helps shape what we cover next, and you being here keeps the conversation going. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
It was everything the volcanologists feared. Pressure had been building beneath Semeru's lava dome for weeks, and now it had reached the point of no return. Then came the pyroclastic flows. If you've never seen one, count yourself lucky. These are not lava flows, they're hotter, faster, deadlier. Picture a rolling wave of ash, gas, and rock moving faster than a sports car, swallowing everything in its path. Trees disintegrate, rivers boil, homes are buried without a trace. As the flows surged downhill, residents scrambled. Trucks loaded with families screamed out of towns. Children were carried through fields of falling ash. Livestock scattered in terror. The sky turned a bruised shade of gray as plumes of volcanic dust blotted out the sun. This wasn't just an eruption, it was a race against time. But here's what made the difference this time. Indonesia was ready. Within seconds of the eruption, alarms blared through villages. Phones lit up with warnings. Emergency radio stations switched from late-night music to evacuation instructions. It wasn't panic, it was choreography. Practiced, rehearsed, grounded in the painful lessons of previous disasters. Because this isn't the first time Semeru has erupted, and it won't be the last. The science is crystal clear on that. Semeru is one of over 100 active volcanoes that sit along Indonesia's Ring of Fire, a horseshoe-shaped belt of tectonic instability that practically guarantees trouble. Eruptions are not if they're when, so the country has invested in one of the most advanced volcano monitoring systems in the world. Seismic sensors, gas detectors, satellite feeds, thermal drones. Every bump, breath, and burp of the mountain is watched, logged, and analyzed. And on this day, that vigilance saved lives. The eruption was massive, yes, but not without warning. And because of that warning, thousands evacuated ahead of the most dangerous flows. But let's be clear, escaping the blast is only half the battle. The true threat now lies in what comes after. Already, Semeru has dumped tons of volcanic ash across entire districts. The air is thick, choking. Breathing it in without a mask is like inhaling powdered glass. The ash blankets roads, rivers, rooftops. If the rain comes, and it will, those fine particles will mix with water to form lavas. The fast-moving, cement-like mud flows that can bury a town in minutes. And here's the kicker: Indonesia's meteorological agency is already warning of incoming storms. More than 40 millimeters of rain in the next 24 hours. So now, it's not just a volcano crisis. It's a chain reaction of hazards. Collapsing roofs under wet ash, flooding rivers, and unstable terrain just waiting to give way. This is why emergency responders aren't resting. They can't afford to. As shelters fill with evacuees, many who left with only the clothes on their backs, teams are fanning out to monitor riverbeds, clear debris, and secure infrastructure. Aid workers are handing out masks, clean water, and tarps. Local leaders are updating community notice boards with the latest flag warnings. Red for danger, green for temporary safety. And all the while, the mountain looms still active, still breathing, still unpredictable. Yet, despite the chaos, something else is erupting here. Misinformation. As ash clouds drifted across the region, so did viral videos, clips claiming Semeru had triggered a tsunami, or that the eruption was a supervolcano event on par with ancient mega-disasters. Let's set the record straight. Semeru is located inland. It cannot trigger a tsunami. That fear, while understandable, is baseless. And the idea of a mega-eruption, not backed by science. What's happening here is serious, yes. It's life-threatening, absolutely. But it's not the end of the world. What it is a lesson in focus. Because while people are panicking over imaginary catastrophes, real ones are unfolding under their feet. The ash is heavy. The rivers are rising. The dome is still unstable. These are the facts that matter. That's why scientists and officials are doubling down on real-time communication. They're verifying viral videos against satellite data. They're pushing back on misinformation with evidence. They're begging the public to listen to them, not the noise. Because in disasters like this, confusion costs lives. Still, even with all the warnings and all the data, nothing prepares you for the human toll. In shelters, families huddle together exhausted, shaken. Some have lost everything: their homes, their fields, their animals. Others have no idea if their houses still stand. Children cough in the ash-tainted air. Elders cling to memories of past eruptions and the loved ones they didn't get to save. And yet, despite the heartbreak, there is resilience. People are organizing food lines, sharing supplies, creating makeshift classrooms so kids can continue learning, even in evacuation zones. Communities are checking on each other, lifting spirits, remembering that they've been through this before and they'll get through it again. Because living near a volcano teaches you something that no textbook can: how to coexist with chaos. You don't fight the mountain. You understand it. You respect it. You build your life not in defiance of it, but in rhythm with it. Semeru is a destroyer. Yes, but it's also a giver. Its eruptions enrich the soil. Its slopes sustain agriculture. Its waters feed the fields. For centuries, people have lived and thrived in its shadow. But thriving means being prepared, being informed, being united. So as the eruption slowly subsides, at least for now, Indonesia faces the long, hard road of recovery. Not just rebuilding homes, but rebuilding trust, in systems, in science, in each other. Because the threat hasn't passed. It's just shifted. Experts warn that dome instability could lead to further eruptions, smaller, perhaps, but still dangerous. Cracks have been spotted. Surface temperatures remain high. Gas emissions are fluctuating. It's like a pressure cooker with the lid still rattling. The question isn't will it blow again. It's when, and will we be ready? And if this eruption proves anything, it's that Indonesia can be ready. The systems worked. The people listened. The mountain roared and the nation moved. But the vigilance can't end when the cameras leave. Because for those living in the shadow of Mount Semeru, this isn't just breaking news. It's life. And life, here, is lived between eruptions. So we watch. We listen. We prepare. And when the mountain speaks again, and it will, we'll be ready to move. If you've ever stood in the aftermath of a volcanic eruption, you know it changes something in you. The landscape is gray. The air feels heavy, metallic, like it's been scorched. You can't see the horizon anymore. Just swirling ash where the sky used to be. It settles on your eyelashes, your tongue, your soul. And everything feels slower, like the world itself is holding its breath. This is what it's like now, across the slopes of Mount Semeru. Yes, the main eruption has passed, but the danger, it's far from over. In fact, for many, the real threat is only just beginning. Because the thing with volcanoes isn't just the blast. It's what lingers, what builds, what waits. Semeru's lava dome didn't completely collapse during the eruption, and that's both a blessing and a curse. A full dome collapse could have caused more pyroclastic flows, maybe even taken out entire districts. But a partial collapse, that leaves the rest teetering, cracked like a cracked tooth that hasn't fallen out yet. The mountain's breathing again, but it's shallow, unstable, monitored like a patient in critical condition. And everyone down below knows that another breath, just one, could be the one that sets it all off again. Now the focus has shifted. The red-hot urgency of the eruption has turned into a grinding, slow-motion disaster. Ash is weighing everything down. Roofs are creaking under the weight of what looks like snow, but burns like sandpaper. Rivers are choked with sludge. Chickens are still trying to peck at gray ground, confused. Schools are closed indefinitely. And then, there's the rain. You might not think much of 40 millimeters of rainfall unless you're standing in a town with ash-backed roads and a volcano in your backyard. In that case, it's a nightmare, because water turns ash into cement, and it turns slopes into slick chutes of debris. It only takes one storm to trigger a lahar, those fast, boiling mud flows that don't care what stands in their way. They follow river channels, they barrel through bridges, and they kill. It's like Mother Nature pressed the disaster remix button. Eruption, followed by rain, followed by mudslides. And then what? Disease, respiratory illness, contaminated water. The emergency workers know this. That's why even though the lava's cooled, they haven't left. They're still patrolling ravines, still reinforcing shelters, still handing out clean water and N95 masks like it's wartime. And for the locals, this isn't just an environmental crisis. It's emotional, psychological. How do you rebuild when everything is covered in soot and silence? When you can't sleep through the night without jumping at a low rumble? When your crops are gone, your animals lost, and the only thing more uncertain than the mountain is tomorrow? Here's the thing. Most of the people living in Semeru's shadow aren't afraid of the volcano itself. They've lived with it, loved with it, farmed in its fertile shadow. They understand that it gives as much as it takes. But what they can't reconcile is the chaos, the unpredictability, the misinformation. Yes, the eruption was violent, but the viral fear, that was worse. Videos claiming Semeru was going to blow like Yellowstone, or trigger a global cooling event. Tweets warning of tsunamis despite the volcano's inland position. Voice messages flying through WhatsApp groups claiming this was the big one, that it would wipe Java off the map. None of it was true. But truth doesn't trend. And while emergency workers were trying to clear roads, they were also clearing myths. That's the double battle now. One against nature, the other against noise. Because panic isn't harmless. Panic paralyzes. People who should have evacuated didn't because they thought it was fake news. Others evacuated too far, jamming up roads that were needed for actual emergency routes. Aid workers were diverted to false reports. Time was wasted. Lives were risked. All because someone needed clicks. That's why scientists are speaking louder now. Not in lectures, but in local dialects. On community radio. In town meetings. They're showing villagers satellite images and real gas readings. Explaining why Semeru can't cause a tsunami. Why the dome might collapse. Why it's still not safe to return. It's not just science. It's survival. And as this silent war between truth and terror plays out, something else is happening. Resilience. You can see it in the kids playing with ash balls like snow. In the grandmothers sweeping their porches with homemade brooms. In the teenagers volunteering to translate for foreign aid workers. One father, covered in ash, told reporters, "We don't wait for help. We are the help." It's powerful. And humbling. Because here's a nation used to rebuilding from disaster not with tears, but with teamwork. And don't think this is just a rural problem. Over 8 million people live near Semeru. The mountain isn't isolated. It's intertwined with everything: agriculture, trade, tourism, energy. When it erupts, it doesn't just swallow villages. It slows economies. It stops trucks. It disrupts harvests. It puts the entire island on edge. That's why the national response has been swift and multi-agency. PVMBG, BMKG, the military, the Disaster Management Authority. Everyone is coordinating around the clock. Drones are still flying. Evacuation zones are being redrawn. Water channels are being cleared with bulldozers before the next rain hits. And through it all, the mountain waits. The work continues. Aid trucks roll in. Volunteers serve hot food in shelters. Babies are born. Weddings are postponed. Life presses on, as it always does, even under a sky still heavy with ash. And when Semeru makes its next move, because it will, Indonesia will move again, too. Together, in motion, in vigilance, in resilience. Because here, survival is not just instinct. It's legacy. The mountain may rise, but so do the people. And yet, as strange as it sounds, there's beauty in the ash. Not the beauty you'd post on Instagram, but something quieter, more intimate. It's in the way neighbors share rice over plastic tarps. The way a child draws a flower with her finger on a dusty window pane. The way people pause to watch the mountain, not with fear, but with respect. This isn't their first eruption. For many of the families here, Semeru is not just a volcano, it's part of the family. It's lived alongside them, towered over their memories. Grandparents remember the last big blast. Some still carry burns, literal or emotional, from it. Children grow up learning not fairy tales, but evacuation routes. There's a deep, almost ancestral understanding that to live near fire, you must dance with it. Why are certain roads cleared faster, while others are still buried? Why did it take hours to deliver clean water to one shelter, but only minutes to another? The murmurs of inequality spread like the ash itself, fine, insidious, impossible to ignore. Aid workers are doing their best. Truly, many are heroes in their own right, working 20-hour days, holding crying toddlers, digging out livestock with bare hands. But systems are fragile, resources are limited, and bureaucracy, even in crisis, moves slowly. This is where community leadership becomes vital. Village elders step up. Local teachers act as translators between scientists and residents. Youth volunteers become runners between command posts and remote shelters. People aren't waiting for orders, they're taking responsibility. And honestly, that's saving lives more than any single agency can. Because when the next pyroclastic flow hits, and there's a chance it won't wait for approvals. It will move fast, without warning. Down slopes already stripped bare of vegetation, slicked with rain, primed for disaster. Scientists are especially wary of this possibility. They've been tracking subtle ground deformations, what looks like the earth swelling, like a slow exhale before the scream. The dome at the summit still hasn't stabilized. Cracks are spreading. Gas output is erratic. The volcano is restless. And in volcanology, restless is code for dangerous. And as recovery efforts continue, there's another storm brewing, not in the sky, but online. Misinformation hasn't gone away. If anything, it's evolved. Now it's not just videos of fake tsunamis. It's conspiracies about volcano engineering. Claims that the government triggered the eruption to clear land. Wild accusations that evacuations are a cover for political maneuvering. None of this is true. All of it is dangerous. Because every time someone believes a lie over a siren, someone hesitates. And hesitation can be fatal. That's why the communication teams are doubling down, hosting town halls in person, pushing verified info through trusted local figures. They're fighting not just nature, but narrative. And let's be honest, narratives matter. Because this isn't just about science or safety, it's about memory. About what story these people will tell their children. Was it chaos? Or was it community? Did they feel abandoned? Or did they see the country rally around them? The answer to that will shape everything: how quickly they rebuild, how deeply they trust, how they respond when the next eruption comes. Because it will come. Maybe in months, maybe years, but it's inevitable. And that's the hard truth of living with a volcano. You never really leave the edge. Even when the alerts go from red to yellow. Even when the dust settles. Even when the media packs up and moves on to the next headline. The mountain stays, watching, waiting, rising, but so do the people. And that's what truly defines this story: not just the eruption, not even the resilience, but the commitment to live anyway. To plant again, even in poisoned soil. To love again, even with disaster looming. To trust again, even when the earth has betrayed you once. Because living near Semeru isn't just geography, it's identity. It's an unspoken pact between earth and human. You give us this land, this life, this beauty, and we promise to respect your power. To listen, to flee when we must, and to return, no matter what. So when the world forgets this story, as it inevitably will, the people of Java will still remember. They'll remember the night the sky turned black, the sirens, the heat, the silence after. They'll remember who showed up and who didn't. And they'll keep living, not in spite of the mountain, but with it. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, you're officially part of the small percentage of people who don't just click away, and that means a lot. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me your thoughts, your ideas, or even what you'd like to see next. I read every single one of them, and your feedback genuinely shapes the direction of this channel. If you enjoyed the video, tap that like button. It tells YouTube this content is worth sharing. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload. We've got more exciting videos coming, and trust me, you'll want to be here for them. This channel is just getting started, and your support helps it grow faster than you realize. Thank you again for spending a part of your day here with me. Stay curious, stay motivated, and as always, take care of yourself. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.